Why I do not like and don't recommend Michael Harding's Ultramarine Blue. There's three main reasons, and the biggest main reason is the drying time due to the high oil content of this paint. It takes roughly 3 times as long compared to other brands to dry, to touch dry. And even though Michael Harding says the drying time is average, I've still found paintings wet to the touch after 14 days of drying, which is simply too long for me as an artist who likes to have their work ready to sell with a retouch varnish applied in roughly 3 weeks. Now, the second reason why I wouldn't recommend and don't like Michael Harding's Ultramarine Blue is that even after 1 to 2 months of drying, once it is touch dry, I've applied retouch varnishes to paintings using Michael Harding's Ultramarine Blue and had the retouch varnish reactivate the paint layer and destroy the painting by removing the paint off the surface. Now, this is an issue I've never experienced with my other paint brands I use, which is Langridge Professional Oil Color and Old Holland, which are very, very lovely paints. Now, the third reason why I don't recommend Michael Harding's and I don't like Michael Harding's Ultramarine Blue is that due to the high oil content, when after roughly 3 months, when it is safe to varnish with a retouch varnish without lifting the paint off the surface, and 3 months is only a rough guess, it might take even longer for some paintings that I have, is that the varnish has a beads on the surface, and there will be dry spots where the varnish doesn't like to sit on top of when I use Michael Harding's Ultramarine Blue. This is an issue I've never had before and do not experience with Langridge or Old Holland. And these three issues so far are only unique to Michael Harding's Ultramarine Blue. So I don't like and don't recommend Michael Harding's Ultramarine Blue if you're an artist who likes to have their work presentable and ready to show in a decent, quick time frame of a month or less. If you don't mind waiting 6 months to a year to varnish or even retouch varnish a painting, then Michael Harding is one of the best oil paints you can buy. I love the brand, and I will continue to use Michael Harding's Burnt Umber, as it is it's very fast drying according to them, and is a more normal behaving oil paint when compared to my other two brands I've been using. These issues I've only found with my Michael Harding Ultramarine Blue. And I'd assume that any tube of paint with a drying time labeled on it saying average will have these similar issues. So I will not be replacing all my paints with Michael Harding, which I think is disappointing. I'd love to use Michael Harding and have it behave the same way as Old Holland and Langridge with a quick drying time. Now, Michael Harding himself says a slow drying rate is an indication of high quality, which it is. But the oil content is so high, it's so runny, and a lot of oil comes out nearly every time I've been using this paint. Even though it is lovely to paint with, it just takes months to safely dry for me to apply retouch varnish. So I don't recommend it in my use case or with similar artists who don't want to wait a year for their work to dry. And I will be weighing and selling this tube on eBay. As much as I'd love to continue to use it, I don't want to wait months for my paintings to be safe enough to retouch varnish. So there you have it. I will be using Old Holland and Langridge for my smaller works. And for big works, this is my first painting in this 24 by 36 inch size. I will be looking at cheaper professional quality oil paint brands such as Schmink and Cranfield. I'll look into buying them. I probably will go with Cranfield due to their good range of large tubes of oil paint for considerably a lot less than Old Holland and Michael Harding. So that way I don't feel as bad about squirting out a bucket of oil paint to try and to achieve a nice thickness to my paint. And Cranfield is also going to be cheaper than buying Langridge, from what I can see. So there you have it. I can't use Michael Harding's Ultramarine Blue due to those three reasons. To get around those issues, I'd have to wait 6 months to be safe before applying a retouch varnish, and I'll still have the beading issue with the varnish themselves. Now, I've learnt you can get around the beading issue by applying odorless mineral spirits first to your painting in a thin layer, and then applying the retouch varnish. But it's just another issue I've never experienced with other brands and don't want to deal with. So there you have it. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.